Well guys, here we are with a 400 euros gaming PC build for those of you who are ready to get used hardware. Now this thing is gonna be based on LGA 1151, basically ring bus architecture, and in this case a Z390 with an i7 8700, unfortunately non-K model. Now those PCs with this kind of socket, people are literally throwing them at you. I bought the whole PC without graphic card for just 220 euros. Basically it came with this Sharkoon case, which is fully in carbon fiber and is matched to the motherboard, the Z370 MSI Gaming Pro Carbon, and it had the i7 8700, 30GB of G.Skill RAM, very badly looking RAM, but no worries, we have a cooler that will cover all of it. Then it actually came with a half a terabyte SATA SSD and a 6TB hard disk, but we are putting just a 1TB hard disk and a 256GB NVMe SSD in here to get faster boot times and because I want to pocket the 6TB for myself. Then it had a Sharkoon 600 watts power supply, not too bad. And at this point we just went ahead and bought a used RTX 3060 Ti Gigabyte Eagle. This RTX 3060 Ti wasn't as easy to find, but if you want to get a 3060 you can get it for 200 bucks or lower easily. We paid 200 for this one, but it was a bit tricky to find. It took me a while to find it. But we then have the star of the show, what you see over here and over there. Basically, Iceberg Thermals sent us their new cooler and fans. Now the cooler, it's their IceSleet X7 Dual. It's an air cooler, but it performs as well as an all-in-one cooler, as we will see later on in the video. The main characteristics is the blue look it has. They also sent us these fans, again all in blue, and that's the reason why everything has the look that you saw in the thumbnail. At least I hope that's how it will come out. And they also make thermal paste with a very unique spreading method. Basically you open it here and this is your paste, so very unique. So the real challenge is, will the air cooler fit in the case? I hope it will. And with that aside, I say we can get building and testing. This PC will be able to play Starfield as well, guys, trust my words. Now yes, we're putting back the battery because of reasons that you will discover later. Now, have you ever seen a blue tower air cooler? Well, the Iceberg Thermals IceSleet X7 Dual apparently has that, so I say we unbox it and take a look at it, okay, pretty big box. This is accessories, and we have basically everything to mount it and the paste, which is good. We'll take a look at this one later. Eesh. It's really cool. It's actually really cool. It's really cool. Guys, I love this thing. It's absolutely stunning. Okay, so we are now gonna install it in this very simple instruction manual. Massive, guys, massive. They also sent us their IceGale ARGB 3-fan pack. This is pretty cheap and they should look as stunning and cooler. So I really love the packaging, to be honest, and I think there is no fan on the market that looks quite like this. They give you all daisy chainable cables as well as the screws. I say we take a look at how the build looks with them. Okay, so at this point we can go ahead and slap the motherboard in. So very gently slide it down. Perfect. Brand new used GPU. Okay, at this point we have everything mounted up and ready. We just have to connect all the cables, do some cable management, and get back with the finished build for all the testing. Okay, so this is what the build came out looking like. The back is not really cable managed, but I say we plug it and see if it turns on. Well guys, here we were with the PC fully built, testing it out, and we have this knocking noise. Can you hear it? It comes straight from the PSU, so we have to figure it out and try to fix it. Okay, so we put it outside, and after vertical mounting it, apparently it's not doing it anymore, so it means that it depends on how it's mounted basically. So we'll try to mount it back slightly inclined, and that should fix it. Well guys, the build is finally finished, and we did encounter quite a bit of issues, but I think in the end it came out looking nice. First of all, aesthetically, then noise-wise, I think this Iceberg thermal cooler is great because it's not noisy at all, and even the case fan is actually pretty nice. We had to go in the BIOS and tune it properly, but after that it's running nicely. Speaking about the BIOS, if you're running an 8th gen CPU like we are, make sure to update it because it will unlock the resizable bar option, as well as a few other crucial options to enable in the BIOS for maximum performance, and set everything right because modern CPUs, they kind of do everything on their own. With 8th gen, a bit of manual tuning is gonna be better. I will actually have a dedicated video about how to undervolt the CPU on the channel, which will come out roughly at the same time with this video, so be sure to check that one out as well. One bad thing about it is that basically, even though we tuned everything properly in the BIOS, since the motherboard is actually an H370 MSI Gaming Pro Carbon, the maximum RAM speed that we can achieve is just 2666 MHz. So even though the RAM sticks are rated for 3200 MHz, we had to settle with 2666. Now something you can do is just tune the timings a bit lower so you can get the same performance, because again, DRAM frequency and latency are basically two variables of the same equation, so if you balance them out properly you will get the same performance. RAM speed is a bit lower, but that did not affect the performance very much. Speaking of which, CPU is of course showing its age since it's the locked i7. If it was the Ki7 we could just overclock it much better, but the locked one is still performing decently. CPU Z, it was scoring basically 500 points on the single thread and a very decent multi-thread score as well. We also took a look at that in Firestrike because we got 17K in physics, which is actually pretty nice, and we got a very good overall score, actually coming pretty close to the best score out there with this kind of hardware configuration. And again, the best score is overclocked while our score is stock, so I was pretty happy about it. Now speaking about the Firestrike score, again, it's pretty good, system is running nicely, but we had plenty of issues with the graphic card. So what happened is it was dramatically overheating. The guy who sold it to me said he did replace the paste and pads, but we went ahead, opened it up, and the thing was absolutely devastated. The paste was dry, pads were destroyed. However, I went ahead, did a repaste, but it was still overheating because he also picked the wrong pad sizing. So I had to spend quite a while troubleshooting it. As you can see by the footage, the GPU was going up to 104 degrees on the hotspot, which is too hot. So I had to go ahead, open it up, and put basically 75mm pad, which you can't even really find on the market. But I had to go put these on the VRAM, and then to stack 2.5mm one, and these basically on the VRM and MOSFET. So again, it wasn't fun, but we managed to fix it, and now it's running nicely. Even in heaven, it's staying under 25 degrees all the time while being very quiet, so I'm happy about it. And that allowed us also to get very good performance in game. So we tested Apex and we were able to get close to 200 FPS there. The RTX 4060 Ti is a very good card. It's actually better than the RTX 4060 actually, so you might want to buy a used RTX 4060 Ti instead of the 4060. Then we tested Warzone. Again, Warzone is really heavy, but we were able to get over 100, close to 120 FPS 1080p in Warzone, which is decent. Was pretty happy about it. And we tested the new Starfield, and with DLSS enabled and compromising a bit on details, 60 FPS was more than achievable. Obviously, if you play Fortnite, you can get over 340 Hz there, and same goes for the new Counter-Strike Global Offensive 2. That one is very easy to run, and this i7 still has plenty of power to run it. Now, let's talk a bit about the cooler more in depth as I show you the footage of how nice it's looking. Basically, even on Prime 95, this thing was able to keep the CPU at around 85 degrees while being very quiet. Again, we set a custom curve in the BIOS with fan tuning, with it becoming basically fanless during normal use. So I was pretty happy about it from that front as well. So do let me know if you like the aesthetic, if you like the performance, and if you would have changed anything in this very little budget build. And I will catch you in the next one, guys. Bye.